All right, traders. So we hit TP on my Bitcoin trade and I made like 1500 off that, which is awesome. Um, I'm really stoked. The only negative that I can say is that, and it was important to learn, I guess, was I lost so much in this downtrend because I just spiraled into revenge trading and market ordering. However, I know now that the third rule that I have, and that is I need to um, only always use a stop loss. I'm good with that. Always risk a percent. I'm good with that. And then only use limit orders as the third thing. So um, if I hadn't lost so much, I also could have risked more coming in, but it is what it is. So I'm still in ETH. I'm looking at some of these. ETH hasn't quite yet hit TP. Um, and yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at my advanced stuff and see if we think things are gonna go higher from here. And then, I mean, regardless, there's gonna be probably a limit long going up somewhere. Okay, so I think this is a good place to get out. I'm gonna tell you why. Um, okay, open interest and CBD. Let's look at CBD. Why? So we can look at what the funding rate is, but I like the predicted funding rate. It's predicted to go positive now. We can see on the squeeze up, funding has gone positive. There's open interest. Spot is buying, so it's for sure possible for it to just run higher. However, it looks to me like a good place to be safe into TP and to try to reposition lower to compound, which was my idea. And man, I mean, what a great TP at 57,700. We went just a little bit higher before having a little bit of a blow off top. So here we're on ETH, looking at the funding rate. Let's put on open interest and CBD as well. And I have some fresh profits to work with now. I want to drop into a lower time frame. So funding's predicted to, yes, get more positive. Definitely futures alonging this. And then from the bottom, doesn't look that great, honestly. It looks okay, but we see actually open interest has been going down with shorts getting stopped, but it's flipped from negative to positive funding. So same thing over here. Funding going up. Up here, people are going long up here. So if we look at, let's go ahead and go to the chart. So essentially, I don't want to short here, but this is not a place to long. So we've got the various stuff on. We look at this high volume candle here. These are a couple big liquidation candles and then people getting stopped out here. ETH is showing relative strength here. And I kind of like the idea of leaving ETH alone, possibly. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance coming down, ETH dominance going up. So I feel good about being out of Bitcoin. I'm definitely interested in repositioning. So I'm seeing this gap all the way down here, which is of interest. I'm also seeing this gap that's going to form right here. Um, So there's two places on this chart that are interesting to me. Well, there's three. Okay, I'm gonna narrow my area of interest. It needs to be a liquidation underneath something. So probably just these two, actually. So I could do two trades, or I could do one trade with a larger stop. I'm liking the idea of um, this one. Actually, I'm on the wrong chart. I want to be right here. So let's look at the 4-hour chart. So there's two little areas of interest. Again, I'm not interested in being a seller here, although it's possible. Yeah, I'm not interested in being a seller here. That could hurt me, but I'm not interested in it. Let's quickly look at what the stock market's doing. Looks good. Some of these, okay. Okay, so we have this big 4-hour gap, but I'm looking a little bit lower because I'm looking where the 4-hour gap and the 1-hour gap are the same. And I'm looking at, okay, under this wick right here. And then there's also this one right here. So these are my two areas of interest for longs on Bitcoin. And the issue here is, yeah, okay. ETH, I kind of like the idea of just TPing my ETH. Maybe leave it alone for the minute. ETH looks a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, but if we go, let's look at the 4-hour. So there's still this one. I'm not interested in trading this one because if price comes down here, I'm concerned it will take the wick and the monthly low. So we just have the 4-hour here. The reason with limit orders to trade both ETH and Bitcoin is a diversification, where a lot of the time the limit orders do not hit. So I'm more interested in this area on ETH, where this could be. So there's three entries that I'm interested in. There's also this one here. I have to think about risk, stop loss, how many entries I want to set up. This one looks really good though. So from here to here, let's just look at a fib idea. That'd be a 50% retracement. Bitcoin could also just keep running, but the fib retracement is right there. Okay, so yeah, just not really interested in shorts in general. I'm thinking, how do we get back in lower to compound this, ideally? So this is the first entry that I like, and this is the second entry that I like. And then the next target that I'm interested in is this weekly high. Oh, here, I want to get back. So this is where the actual orders are. Okay, so there's two trades that I'm interested in. Okay, let's go back on the 1-hour. In this box right here. Could run without me. I'm still carrying an ETH long at the moment though. Yeah, I just want to have faith. This is where it's good to stop looking. This could also be an air gap that reverses. I think it's unlikely though. I think it's likely to be a strong gap similar to this one. So if you look in the 1 hour, kind of interested in setting up something like this. I'm saying it's not going to be that shallow a retracement, that deeper retracement. And that would be getting out at 57,500, 700, and getting back in at 56,200 is would be sort of a significant. Okay, so that's one. The other one I'm interested in this 4 hour gap right down here. So I think I would rather do, would I rather do one big trade, a big trade and a small trade, or two small trades? I want to think what would be the least stressful. I mean, I could just do it like this and risk more. I could also do just one. So this is the part that's discretionary. ETH looks good. I would like to see ETH hit TP. Let's look at ETH for a minute though. Yeah, I mentioned, okay, I'm interested in this 1 hour gap. And there's also this one here. So again, there could be two trades. And then I'm also interested in trading up to this weekly high and eventually back up to here, possibly. For this one, I think I'm interested in trading it wider and smaller for now. Again, I'm aware of this 4 hour gap, but I'm not that interested. It would be kind of a break in structure. I'd be more interested in this holding as support and then, yeah. I think one possibility that happens here, if we see the ETH strength, as ETH trades all the way up into here, reacts, and Bitcoin kind of sweeps its own high. Um, yeah, so let's think about risk. Definitely under this wick. I don't love having my stop in this gap. The problem with these no structure areas is if price falls through. I mean, I almost prefer to be like here and just run it really tight, but I don't want to do that. Because, okay, price could come in to this area possibly and survive. I could also have just one trade. And if, yeah, I kind of like that. If price comes all the way back down here, I'll just reevaluate and look for another entrance, I think. So maybe just one entrance. And then again, I can look for something else. I could also just trade this one, the farther one away, but that would be a greater chance of not being able to get back in. Is there a merit to just limiting out of or just marketing out of ETH? I have a no market entrance rule, but a no market exit seems okay. But exiting at the market seems okay. Um, Especially if I'm going to set a limit lower. Mm, yeah, funding's predicted to go positive. We should have a reaction. Lower time frame. I kind of like the idea of marketing out of ETH. My TP isn't very much further anyways. Okay, I'm out. And that did a lot for my account. Have some money to risk once again. Okay, so that's done. Um, I kind of also like checking back later, but I kind of like this position for ETH. I might just totally run without. I could also. I like this entrance for Bitcoin. I'll say that. This is an entrance that I like. There's also this gap right here, but I like that entrance. Could be exiting. Well, whatever. Focus on where we are now. Okay, I like that entrance. I like the exit. I wouldn't want to be short here though. I like the idea of this 4 hour gap holding. And I don't really like, I mean, I could run my stop all the way down here, but it would prevent me from running a really big size. Like, it would cause me to get back in with a much smaller size. Um, we have enough structure here and it's bullish enough that I feel like I need to worry more about not even getting in the trade. That we're gonna have a really shallow pullback potentially. Maybe something like that. Just right under this. There is the possibility that we just bleed off from here. That we get like something like this, where we had a nice move up, and then we're just going to bleed off. I don't really think it's the same situation though. And the funding looks, I don't know, maybe I don't even want a long ETH. The only reason to long ETH is kind of as a way to spread like a slight hedge. Because if you look at ETH, honestly, there really hasn't been spot buying. It hasn't had the strongest run, and then funding is already coming back to levels before the sell-off. There's a part of me that thinks that it could dump. I mean, we're still on long signals on everything, so yeah, I want to trade long. Um, yeah, I'm finding this to be sort of tough, so I just want to start taking some action. I like the initial entry for Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin looks a lot better to me. It's predicted to go positive. I mean, I love the exit. I got out higher, and I'm concerned this will be an air gap. In terms of not losing money, this one is the best. In terms of making money, I'm thinking I want to be in this gap here and maybe just trade one. I like the idea of being long on ETH also. Maybe that one would be a lower. I could take the lower one on ETH. ETH's been a little bit weaker, and the higher one on Bitcoin, and just take two. That's an interesting idea. I kind of like that. Okay. So then I would just have two trades. Okay. So I want to be up in here. And with Bitcoin, I'm going to say this gap is going to hold. Pretty strong reaction. 10% move. So we talk about chasing. I have a problem with chasing and market orders. I may have a problem with chasing with limit orders too. Where? Well, I'm not chasing this gap. Where the target is this pink line next. Well, it's what I'm gonna do. It makes sense to me. So I'm gonna put my stop. I want it to be somewhere strong. I like this little wick as my entry where I don't know what happened here, but people are looking at it. There's also this, and then if this goes, I don't mind the low here. So how far would that be as far as stop? It would be how far is that? 2.56% stop. The stop would be $1,500. So I could get back in with the same position size, potentially. Try to. And I know that ETH is acting stronger right now, but it's just been very weak. And it's not so much that part of the reason also I'm interested in that is because it's just breaking up it makes sense to break up the trades. And this one allow for a larger pullback, which is not likely to fill, but I'm less likely to lose both of them, which is important. So let's do it. Okay, so for Bitcoin, okay, that's 56,200. I got out $1,500, $750 higher for my position sizing. It's a little bit chasing, but I don't want to come back look at it or trade that one smaller too. This would be interesting. No. I gotta remember the environment. I think there's significant news coming up, right? CPI is on Wednesday, right? PPI is on Thursday. If those numbers are bad, could dump the whole thing. So another way I could do this, I could just take a break and come back. I could also not place a trade. I could also place a number of small trades, which would be interesting. I'm not that interested in being long on ETH, maybe. I don't really care for crypto fear and greed. I know it's gonna show greed. Doesn't really matter that much. ETH, honestly, ETH doesn't look super good to me. So why don't I not trade ETH at all? Especially if my ETH entry is lower, I might as well just have two Bitcoin entries instead, right? ETH's not really a hedge then at that point, where I like what we're seeing from Bitcoin. So, okay, so we're gonna scratch the ETH long entirely. And I'm going to, part of me just wants to run one big trade. Where, how far is that? 56,000 to 53,000. This probably causes me less anxiety. I know it's a little bit of, I would trade it a little bit bigger, but I could tighten up the stop if I see something that I like. But kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, because if price comes all the way and hits this, would I really want to long it? Not necessarily. The way it's looking on the 4 hour though, it's pretty ugly. I think I like risking it like this. Okay, so it's 56 200, and I'm gonna trade him a little aggressively. 53 597. Um, I cannot even trade it that aggressively. Say I want to risk 1500 at point 0.6. It's possible. I don't necessarily believe we're just gonna sharp sell off from here. It's possible though. Let's look at treasury rates. US 10-year. Uh, yeah, show me this. Wow, doesn't really mean anything. Too many great exits so far, I can say that. At least on Bitcoin. I mean, if it's anything like it's been, it will nuke the whole thing and come all the way back down here. However, just the way it's looking, could also do this and have a shallow pullback. This is maybe more what I want to play for, something like this. Um, Price came and swept some liquidity. And yeah, this was the move right here. There's this scenario where price is doing this. No, I see the spot buying though. What I like here is it wasn't like if it was just here and it reversed, I wouldn't want to buy in here. I would want to look down here. But the fact that it has ground up higher and built this liquidity above makes it seem a little bit better. So I think I'm gonna try it, and I like the idea of just doing one. It's the least stressful to me, considering I'm not going to be able to look that close, CPI, yada yada. So I like that. I feel like if we sweep this, then we're probably just going lower, and I don't want to mess with it. And I don't want to look for shorts in this environment because of where everything is on the charts. Although it looks like there's a couple that are gonna possibly set up. And you know what's really interesting? It's how helium would be working. Yeah, if I had held that. Although all my margin went to Bitcoin and ETH, which worked probably better, so, but yeah, try to be a seller in here, but no, I just want to focus on longs at the moment. Okay, so we'll do it here. 56,220. The limit at 56,220. My stop will be at 53,597, which is a pretty wide stop. Um, I'm gonna risk a lot of what I made. I'm gonna increase my position size. My TP, I'm looking for this old weekly high right here. I'm looking for price to come back to 60,000, and I'm gonna risk this. Okay, 56,220. Okay, so don't want to limit higher personally at the moment. I might not even come back here, but also might fall through. And considering ETH looks weaker, and I don't want to limit ETH, and I'd want to limit ETH lower, there's no reason. So new daily candle. So what I want to do is just limit Bitcoin at the highest available place. That makes sense. And I'm just going to run them wide. And it's possible price wants to run without me and I won't be a part of this. Um, but I'm happy with setting up like this for now. And again, I could split it into two trades, here and here. It's not the best risk reward on this trade, but the idea is what's going to stress me out the least. And I feel like this would stress me out the least. Um, so let's try it. All right, folks. And that's why we limit order, because it gives me so much time to really think and plan contingencies. I'm prepared for the possibility of this being an air gap and price just falling right through this. But we do have some potential support levels. And spot is buying. It just looks like an okay thing to do here. So let's do it. Much love, happy trading, and peace.